Respect built on fear is just a countdown to loneliness. When the so-called dictator of the family finally loses his voice, he realizes that power is completely useless without love. I met Sophie at a modern art gallery a while back. She was standing in front of this striking painting of a collapsing tower, just staring at it. I asked her what she saw, and she told me it reminded her of her father, a man who ruled their family like a tyrant, until the day his children finally decided they had had enough. Sophie's father was the classic patriarch, the kind you read about in old novels but rarely see today. He was a self-made man, a business tycoon who believed his success gave him the right to control every aspect of his children's lives. And I mean every aspect. He didn't just suggest career paths, he dictated them. He didn't just approve of partners. He arranged marriages that were essentially business alliances. He even vetted their friendships, making sure everyone in their circle could somehow benefit the family empire. To him, his children weren't individuals. They were assets, pawns on his corporate chessboard. Their home wasn't a place of warmth and love, but a headquarters where loyalty was demanded and dissent was crushed. Any deviation from his grand plan was met with cold, calculated punishment, financial cutoffs, emotional manipulation, and public shaming. He built a kingdom on fear, convinced it was the same as respect. For years, Sophie and her 3 siblings walked on eggshells. They followed the rules, played their parts, and suppressed their own dreams. But a cage, no matter how gilded, is still a cage. The breaking point for Sophie came when she graduated from university. She had secretly been studying art history, her true passion, while officially enrolled in a business program to please her father. When he announced he had arranged her marriage to the son of a business rival to seal a merger and a high-level position for her in the new company, she finally said no. She told him she wanted to be a museum curator. The explosion was monumental. He called her ungrateful, a traitor to the family. He gave her an ultimatum: fall in line or be cut off completely. Sophie chose freedom. She was disowned on the spot, her name forbidden to be spoken in the house. Sophie's act of defiance was like the first crack in a dam. Her older brother, who had been forced to abandon his dream of being a chef to work in the family firm, saw her courage and was inspired. A year later, he quietly sold his shares, left a letter on his father's desk, and moved to another country to open a small restaurant. He went completely no contact. Then the youngest sister, who was still in high school, refused to attend the boarding school her father had chosen for her. After a massive fight, she went to live with an aunt and never looked back. The last to leave was the eldest son, the designated heir. He endured the pressure for a few more years, but the emptiness of the huge house and the hollow echo of his father's commands finally broke him. He resigned from the company, moved his family to a small town, and severed all ties. One by one, all 4 children had escaped, leaving the patriarch completely alone in his massive, empty mansion. The king was left with his throne, but no subjects. The downfall, when it came, was swift and brutal. A series of bad investments, coupled with his declining health, caused his business empire to crumble. The so-called friends and loyal employees, the very people whose loyalty he thought he had secured through money and fear, vanished overnight. There were no more flattering phone calls, no more invitations to galas. When he suffered a major health crisis, there was no one to call, no one to sit by his bedside. The man who had controlled everything was now powerless, a prisoner in the silent, opulent tomb he had built for himself. He had all the money in the world, but he couldn't buy a single moment of genuine connection or care. He was surrounded by priceless art and expensive furniture, but the one thing he craved, the sound of his children's voices, was gone forever. When I asked Sophie if she ever felt guilty, she looked at me with a sad but peaceful expression. She said that for a long time she did, but then she realized that what she and her siblings had done wasn't just about saving themselves. It was about breaking a cycle. Her father had been raised by an equally tyrannical man, and he was just passing down the trauma he had endured. By walking away, they had stopped the poison from spreading to the next generation. Her brother is now a happy chef. Her sisters are pursuing their own passions, and she is a successful curator. They are all building lives based on love and mutual respect, not fear and control. Sophie's father lost everything, but in a way his downfall was a necessary sacrifice. It was the collapse of that tower that finally allowed new, healthier things to grow in its place. The cycle of generational trauma was finally broken. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. See you next time.